Everyone. Welcome to Mindfulness Mondays. I'm Daniela Paulo. A few friendly reminder, folks will be muted for the duration of today's program, but feel free to use the chat if you have any questions or just share any comments. If you feel comfortable to do so, please join us on camera. As you can see, the rest of our mindfulness community is joining us today on camera. Our next live English session will be on July 14th, next week with Dr. Taylor Brush. I want to remind you about our PD Health at Home programs. We have Mindfulness Mondays like you're joining today, Wellness Wednesdays, Fitness Fridays, and EP Salud en Casa, which is our Spanish programming series. Our next Wellness Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, will focus on non-motor symptoms such as sleep disturbances, mood changes, fatigue, and cognitive challenges, and how they impact quality of life. Join us for this webinar this Wednesday called Beyond the Movement, Understanding Non-Motor Symptoms. Find out more by registering at parkinson.org/pdhealth. Many thanks, of course, to our sponsor, Light of Day Foundation, for their generous support for supporting us to advance our mission. And last but not least, I would love to introduce everyone to our moderator for today, Dr. Nico Hase. You'll be leading us in today's mindfulness session. So everyone, help me in welcoming Nico.
Hello. It's always a delight to be here with all of you. You might wonder, why am I wearing a jacket in the middle of summer? So I am currently guiding a wilderness meditation retreat on the lost coast of California in the middle of a wilderness area. There's this little inholding within the Bureau of Land Management that's privately owned land here. And there's a little cottage that I'm in right now. We have solar power, which is powering satellite internet, which is how I am able to be with you. And it's a cool, foggy morning here in coastal California. So I'm delighted to be joining you. Yeah, I really enjoy coming. I try to come about once a month, maybe every 2 months, to talk to you all in the Parkinson's Foundation. And this time we're going to talk about emotions. So as I say that, you can notice any reactions you have. Sometimes a few Zoom users will just bump right off when I bring up emotions. Our emotional life is not always the easiest to turn our attention toward, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. I wanted to talk about emotions themselves and what is a good way to work with our emotions. Right? A lot of feelings, a lot of emotions can come up for us if we're working with chronic pain or we're working with symptoms associated with a chronic illness. I thought I'd start with a story. So years and years ago, I was still in high school. I had my first girlfriend, and it was, like kind of my first love. And we were together for almost 2 years, which in high school terms was essentially an eternity. And then we broke up. And I was distraught. I was kind of lost. It was like the most important person in my life. And then we were no longer. I'd never had a breakup before. I didn't know what to do about it. And I remember I had a really close high school teacher. He was an environmental studies teacher named Eugene. And he just came up to me in the hallway. He had no idea what was going on. And he said, "Do you want to have lunch?" He'd never done that before. And so Eugene took me to this pizza place near our high school. And he sat me down and he said, "What's up?" And I just spilled. For 10 or 15 minutes, I just talked. And Eugene, he just listened. He nodded. He gave these like encouragers, like, "Oh yeah, He was kind of vibing with me as I was talking to him about all of these difficulties that I was having with this breakup. And at the end of that 10 or 15 minutes of me being able to really speak my mind, I felt like a different person. Because what Eugene did for me in that moment was listen. Right? all he did was listen, and my whole experience changed. So it was from that experience that I became a psychotherapist. I got a PhD in counseling psychology. It became my whole life became about listening. And what I realized later on was that it's wonderful to have another person in our lives that really can listen to us. But in meditation, we learn to give ourselves that same quality of listening. That is what we are training on Mindfulness Mondays. We're just training this ability to really deeply listen. Listen to the body. Excuse me. Listening to this body as it is, not the sensations we wish we were having, but the sensations we're actually having. And then listening to the heart, the complexity of the heart, the expressiveness of the heart. Can we really listen? And what we'll find often when we really listen to the heart, which is what we're going to do today, is that at first, it doesn't feel better. At first, when we really check in with the heart, we could find fear we didn't even know we had, sadness, grief, irritation, anger. It's not for the faint of heart to really listen to the heart. But through mindfulness, through this caring attention that we can bring to our own experience, we build the capacity to be with whatever is here, with whatever is moving through your own heart and mind. And so we're going to do a little meditation here. And we're just going to do 3 steps. The first one is to bring our attention to the heart and then just name what we find. It seems so simple. It is so simple. But just that very act of naming an emotion gives us enough space, gives us enough room so that we can begin to navigate and know what to do, right? Just the naming of the emotion. So that's going to be step 1. And then step 2, we're just going to just allow it to be. So much of our life we spend trying to manage our emotions, trying to make them different than they are. Do you have this experience? I do. So in this meditation, we're just going to allow the emotions to be whatever they are. And then step 3, we're going to bring a little bit of warmth, right? A little bit of friendliness to whatever emotions we find. And if you're having a great day and all you find is joy and peace, perfect. If you're having a bit of a difficult day and you find a lot of irritation and tension, also perfect. There's no one experience that you need to have in order to benefit from this kind of practice. Okay. So let's do a little meditation together, a little mindfulness together. You could find a nice, comfortable posture. It's nice to be a little bit sitting up if that's comfortable for you, just so you feel awake in your body. Even more important to be relaxed. So just letting your shoulders soften. You might close your eyes or just gently soften your gaze. And let's take a couple of deeper breaths, just breathing as deeply as feels natural and comfortable to you. And once you've taken those deeper breaths, maybe bring a warm awareness, a kind attention to your own heart. And we'll pause here, just sensing your heart. And can you find an emotion to name? It could be sadness, it could be joy, it could be resentment. Nothing is off limits. Just see if you can find one or two emotions and just note them. Oh, this is anxiety. This is worry. Or this is contentment. And maybe you can't even find an emotion. Maybe you just find a blank space. That's okay too. You could just note blankness, nothing. That's great. And now, whatever you're finding in this territory of the heart, allow it to be. There's no need to tinker or improve. You don't have to get rid of anything. You don't have to make anything better. Just relax, soften into whatever is here. You might find that your mind wanders away. That's okay. When you notice, bring it back gently, with intention. Come back to your heart. Maybe name an emotion, could be different, and then allow. And now in our final step, you could place a hand on your heart. Touch is a powerful way to soften the nervous system and to help emotion move through and integrate. So just feeling the sense of touch, receiving the touch of your hand on your heart. Again, no special experience to have here, just what is it? What's it like? Receiving the touch of your hand. Does the emotion change? Does it shift? Does it get bigger, smaller? Staying curious. How is it now? Now you might take a couple of deeper breaths again. Really breathing deep into your belly, into your lungs. You can let your body begin to move and stretch in any way that feels easeful for you. Open your eyes, look around. Right. Good. So that was mindfulness of emotions. And I'd love to hear over chat. How'd it go? How'd that go? Calm and relaxing. Oh, and I should say, positive experiences are welcome. Difficult experiences are welcome. Whatever you experienced, I want to hear about it. I found fear, yeah, very common. Found fear. Sadness lessened, so there was an easing of the sadness. It doesn't have to go away, but there is something that can happen as we turn our attention toward sadness. I found anger that I had suppressed. Is it wrong to say that that's really good news? Nobody wants to find suppressed anger, but when we encounter our anger honestly, it's going to be better for us in the long run. It's going to be better for everyone around us in the long run. Suppressed anger has a way of expressing itself in funny ways. So when we know, then we can work with it skillfully. My heart is sad. Yeah, a lot of sadness. Did not feel alone with my emotions. Good. We do this together. We do this in community. It was calming. I'm aware that I fear struggling with symptoms and degradation. I'm finally finding acceptance and forgiveness for myself. Beautiful. I identified two emotions, but at peace with them. Very good. I felt sadness that changed to fear. Yeah, that's shifting. Sadness, then it's fear, then it could be sort of quiet joy, then it goes back to fear. Simple, but effective. Balance between peace and worry was enhanced with touch. Very nice. Fear, sad, disappointment came back to peace. Jesus, relief, pulse, encouraging. Very nice. Even though my emotion was irritability, I was able to feel a sense of calm and acceptance and even smiled. The calm is there alongside the irritability. And there's a good insight. The calm can be there alongside the irritability. Sleep, yeah. Sadness and regret followed by comfort and self-compassion. Beautiful. I love just sitting, letting my feeling be. Touch brought me warmth and back from fear. Found fear, mourning what I have lost and will lose, a bit pissed off. Yeah. Grateful for my husband. Hand on heart felt good. I felt content. Does this apply to PSP, which is a worse prognosis than pure Parkinson's? I think yes. So whatever we are moving through in our health journey, in our relationships, in our communities, whatever phase of life we're in, emotions will be our companion. And emotions can be something like our worst enemy. And if we work with them skillfully, emotions can be something like our best friend. So whether your prognosis is good at the moment, prognosis is not so good at the moment, working skillfully with your emotions, I tend to think, and the research supports this, can be very, very beneficial. So much of what is happening in chronic illness is not just about you, but about everyone around you, right? It's about your relationships, your connections with others. And so as you work skillfully with your own emotions, you keep your relationships healthy, you keep your support network close. It's very, very helpful. And the more difficult it gets, the more emotions there are, maybe the more difficult emotions there are, the more helpful it becomes to work skillfully with those emotions. And what we were doing today was just a first step in how to work skillfully with these emotions. So calm, focus. Touch felt like a warm hug. Sadness softened. So much sadness. Yeah. And some contentment too. Peaceful with hand on my heart. The feeling dissipated after a few minutes and the sadness disappeared. So like a range of experiences here, right? Seems that for each emotion, I can find and feel an opposite one, kind of the glass half full. Beautiful. The feeling was sadness. The comfort in listening and meditating was helpful. I had not meditated, was listening to me instead of God. Yeah. Touch felt important. I got very relaxed and almost drifted to a dream state. I feel that life is going much faster than before. I found suppression of resentment. Yeah. I eventually felt calmness and relaxation. Best mindfulness I've experienced. Wonderful. Prioritize emotions in light of flooding. What's my PT in context? I'm still here. I need to leave. Yes, nice to see you. My first feeling was numbness, then exasperation broke through. Yeah, it was hard to be compassionate with exasperation. And yet, exasperation needs our compassion. Boy, does it. I survived heart surgery last week. Congratulations. 7 stents, and I am feeling much better now. My wife recognized the symptoms of a silent heart attack and saved my life. Amazing. Very peaceful with an added warmth in my heart. So we have time for questions. Anything come up during that experience that you'd like to ask a question, or any questions that you might have about how to use mindfulness with emotions, or any questions that you have that you think I might be able to answer. Everything is very welcome here. Just type it in if you have a question. Yeah, you'll have to type it in. I don't think they unmute anybody. So Annie, just type it into the chat. I thought meditation was humming. What is meditation? There are some meditations that use humming, but meditation, oh my gosh, there are so many different answers to this question of what is meditation. So I'm gonna say, for now, one definition of meditation is paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, with kindness. That's John Kabat-Zinn's meditation. So I'll say it again. We could say meditation is paying attention in a particular way, which means on purpose, in the present moment, with kindness. Could say that's what meditation is. Now you can use humming, you could place a hand on your heart. There's lots of different techniques, but I think that definition is pretty good for all the different kinds of meditation. Yeah. How do I use mindfulness with negative emotions? Patiently. So the first thing to notice is, am I using mindfulness to try to get rid of what I perceive to be a negative emotion? My experience is that very, very, very often this is the case. I want to be mindfulness of this emotion so it will go away. Now that's a subtle kind of argument you're having with your own heart. And so the first step is that the naming, oh, this is irritation. I don't like irritation, right? Fine, you don't like it. That's the first step, is just knowing what it is, naming it. Second step is that allowing, the softening into it. And then offering yourself some self-compassion. Today it was just a hand on the heart. So there's many, many, many other ways to work with negative emotions. But if you just stick with what we did today and do it again and again, you'll get more familiar. It'll become easier for you. It doesn't mean that your difficult emotions will just go away magically. It means that you'll become more aware, more skillful in working with them, have a deeper understanding of the information they're trying to give you, and then hopefully can express that to the people around you so that it can be helpful instead of harmful when you have a strong, difficult emotion. We don't always do that, right? That's okay too. So there are many questions here that I'm not going to get to because now I need to turn it back over to Danielle. But thank you so much for all of your participation in these wonderful questions. And I will be back in a month or two and we can continue the conversation then.
Thank you so much, Nico. I know the whole group here really just enjoys when you and Devin come. So just thank you again for coming here today and for leading us through today's session. So we hope to see you at our Mindfulness Monday session next Monday. But in the meantime, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We have a website with many more resources that addresses whatever you may be looking for. Please visit parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO or email them at helpline@parkinson.org. So until next time, I hope to see everyone here once more next week or this coming Wednesday. So take care, everyone.